Here we are, I'm in Roop at the Truman Brewery and Brick Lane. We're talking at the AOP event today. How are you feeling?
I'm very well.
Good, good. We're talking about how to make impact in photography. Should be a good event. Check out the video.
Brilliant, basically. Should go and see them. Loads of passion, loads of enthusiasm. Just inspirational to, somebody who's been in photography a long time, coming back and reminded about why we do it and kind of the energy that these guys have got. Makes you want to get out there and do it tomorrow.
Talk was really interesting. Brought their perspective, how they work, and the personalities came out in terms of making people feel comfortable, and really the environment that they shoot in, because I have assisted them before as well, so I know that the environment that they shoot in, that they create when they do their work, it's a really welcoming place to work. So yeah, it's a really inspiring talk. Yeah.
We are Amit and Naroop. I am Naroop. That over there is Amit. That guy over there, that old guy, is Amit. And we are a photography duo. We've been working together for what, 14 years? 13, 14 years? 13, 14 years. And we do portraiture and advertising. And today we're going to be talking about how to make an impact in photography. So I'm sure you guys are all interested about kind of getting yourself seen, making a mark, moving ahead, progressing your career. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we do, I think it's important that you get to understand a little about who we are and how we've managed to make an impact ourselves. So like I said, we started about 13, 14 years ago, and we're self-taught. So nobody taught us anything. And we kind of came together, was it when one of my friends needed a shoot, and me and Amit kind of joined forces, and we did a shoot, and straight away we thought, actually, why don't we just become like a photography duo? Like, call ourselves Amit and Naroop, which is our names, obviously, and just kind of go at it. And we did. We turned Amit's mum's living room into our studio, right? Because they were renovating, so that we told them to use white floor and paint all the walls white, and had a colorama there and lights, and we used to shoot portfolios and stuff there, but we had no idea what we were doing. Absolutely no idea. I remember one time, remember those two girls we were doing a portfolio for? We had these two girls that we were doing a portfolio for, and after about 5 minutes, we'd exhausted all of our poses that we knew. So me and Amit looked at each other, ran into another room, grabbed like one of those Debenhams catalogs, flicked through them, right, and just looked at some poses and came back in. Literally, we knew nothing. Somehow, some way, we managed to build a name up for ourselves and started shooting friends who were aspiring actors and models and singers. And before you know it, we started getting booked more and more. A year later, we went back to Amit's parents and said, guys, look, can you buy us a studio? Amit was 19, I was 23, and that's us over there. Two young guys. Look, I had no white hair. Amit had hair, right? And two young, naive guys thinking we're going to take over the photography world by storm. So that's the day we got the keys, by the way. We don't always stand there kind of holding each other's hands. So this was the place we bought. It was an ex-charity office in West London. It's still our studio now. We gave ourselves 3 months to turn that place into our state-of-the-art studio. Forwarding on a year, that's what it still looked like, right? When I'm telling you, every day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., me, Amit, and his dad used to go to this place in the freezing cold and try to build a studio. And me and Amit are not builders, so we knew nothing. So it's basically Amit's dad doing all the work and me and Amit kind of goofing about. And like we couldn't do anything, I'd take photos of him as he was posing while his old man was doing the tiling, but we knew nothing. We knew nothing, but we thought this was the hard part. We thought, let's build a studio and people will come. Let me tell you, this was the easy part. What happened next was the hard part. It took a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of heartache, doubted ourselves, thought we couldn't do it, but somehow, some way, we managed to make an impact. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And now, we're quite well established, do a lot of personal work. This is a recent project me and Amit did when we went to Comic-Con in May. And we photograph people who like to dress up as their kind of models, their heroes, their idols. So that's Iron Man there. This is Harlequin from Suicide Squad, us trying to look cool. And then we've also done a lot of cool stuff. We just returned from New York. We had an exhibition out there for 2 weeks in Soho and Manhattan. We photographed Sikhs, British men and women with turbans, and also American men and women. Here are some behind-the-scenes shots. Again, you can't help but grab a sword and pose for a picture, But this was the exhibition. This was on, like I said, it was actually on the most expensive corner of real estate in all of Manhattan. And we had it on for 2 weeks, and we had 1,000 people a day to come and see the exhibition, which was fantastic. So we were blown away, to be honest, by all the support and the turnout, and it really, we were a really proud moment. I remember looking there and just kind of hugging Amit and said, look, we've done it, because it took so much effort, even just to put an exhibition on here, but to do one in New York was even more difficult. But we did it, and that project has made a massive impact on our careers. And there's reasons why it has, and we'll talk about that as well. Again, some more images from the exhibition. Here's one of the images. So it's all about the beard and the turban, and how they've kind of changed over time, and how cool these guys look. This is some of the images from our Comic-Con project. That's Heisenberg. If any of you guys watch Breaking Bad, you might be familiar with him. And this other guy's called, I think it's called 1 Inch Punch Man, but I just think his outfit looks super cool. We shoot a lot of celebrity work. This is a good old friend, Ricky Gervais. Some more of our kind of portraiture work that we do. This is a recent project we've actually done. It's about individuals who believe smoking cannabis should be legalized. So it was one of our latest projects, something that we're focusing on right now. Again, some more of our portraiture work. But we've managed to have an impact. So these are some of the places we've had press written about ourselves. And the reason I'm showing you this stuff is for you guys to realize that you can have an impact. You can go on the BBC World News and be seen by 200 million people. You can, but it's a way of doing it. It's a way that it happens, and that's what we're going to discuss today. But fundamentally, to really make an impact, you need to be remarkable, okay? Your work and yourself as individuals, you really need to stand out. Now, being remarkable means, by definition, that some people aren't going to like everything that you do. I think as photographers, we become very emotionally connected to our work. So when somebody says, I don't like it, or somebody just walks past your photograph, you get offended, right? You think, why do they not see the same thing I see? But look back to all of the great artists, painters, fashion designers. Not everybody likes the work that they do. Not everybody thinks that they're good. And I think once you realize that the work that you do is not going to be liked by everyone, you can start to move forward in your career. And I remember when we first started, when people didn't like our work, I used to get really, really offended. Amit's always been a bit more of the level-headed guy. I'm the guy with all the heart and the emotion. I used to hate it. Like, why do they not see what we see in this photograph? Do they know how long it took us to do it, and how many lights we use, and how many hours I spent retouching it? People don't care. They don't see that. We see that. They don't see it. Okay? So you have to be able to become comfortable with people not liking your work. But you don't need everybody to like your work. You need some people to like your work, the right people to like your work, the people that are going to help you move forward. So nobody ever gets unanimous praise. Criticism comes to those who stand out. So you think back to like Renoir and Monet, and when they were painting in France, people didn't like the stuff that they did then, right? They didn't get accepted to have their work displayed in the salon there, so they had to start up their own exhibition. But now look, they'll be known for history as being amazing painters and artists, right? But at that time, people didn't appreciate it, but you have to become comfortable with that. Now, a lot of the time, people think that, I want to make an impact, and they try to do stuff that they think everybody's going to like, right? Like I've been discussing. But what you need to be able to do is be comfortable with breaking the rules. Now, in photography is one of those things where there's so many rules that people talk about the rule of thirds and all the books. There's so many rules. Even I don't know them all. The fact is, you don't need to know everything, okay? Sometimes it comes back to kind of childhood when you're at school. Whoever used to get into detention at school? Did anybody ever get sent to the back of the class? I remember I used to have to stand at the back of the class and face the wall, and I used to get told off all the time. Or sometimes I was a kid, because I used to be quite chubby when I was young. I never used to get picked to play in football, so all the kids were playing football and I was standing on the side by myself, and I hated it. And no one likes to feel like they're left out. But really, everybody wants to feel part of the group, but really you have to be comfortable with the fact that you don't want to be part of the group. Nowadays, in this crowded marketplace, and photography is a very crowded marketplace, you don't want to be where the masses are. You want to be that person who stood by themselves on the other side of the playground, the person that everybody can see. You want to be that person, because not standing out is the same as being invisible. Now, everybody who's got an Instagram account says they're a photographer. People take a photo on their iPhone, put a filter on it, and Snapseed or one of those other apps, and all of a sudden they've made this amazing picture, and they call themselves a photographer. Is that really photography, or is that someone happening to capture a nice moment and adding some filters that some guys developed on their computer and then showing it to the world? That's the reality of the situation right now. Right? So we have to make sure we can stand out from those guys and really make an impact. But the good news is that everybody wants to kind of try to fit in with the crowd. Everybody wants to have their work liked by the masses. So if you're willing to stand out and do something a little bit different to make an impact, it's actually a little bit easier for you now, okay? Because you can be remarkable with a little less effort. So you've got two choices, and you decide what you'd want to be. You can either be invisible, anonymous, uncriticized, and safe, or you can take the chance at greatness and be unique and be successful. And I know what we've chosen. We want to try to stand out, try to be different, try to make an impact. So, what makes you remarkable? Amit is going to discuss that with you now.
Thank you, mate. Hey guys, I'm Amit. Really good information, powerful stuff there from Nirup. Our goal has always been to help people achieve success based on mistakes and obstacles we've faced. So, I want to get a show of hands, who is actually a photographer, professional working photographer here in the group? It's quite a lot of us, half. Okay, brilliant. So the information we're sharing with you today is designed to help you get a bit quicker along the line with hopefully less obstacles and mistakes. Okay, so being remarkable. Now, the fact that you said half of your photographers here, there are a lot of photographers in London and in the UK. Just think about this for a minute. How on earth does a commissioner pick who to use when there are thousands of people, I remember the old days of going into Blockbuster Video. You'd go there and there's just videos everywhere and choices everywhere. So we realized it's not just about the photography, it's not just about the pictures, it's about yourself as a person as well. If you are remarkable yourself as a person, that will definitely add value to your photography as well. A lot of people are under the assumption that if my work's great, my work's good, I'll get booked. Sadly, as many of you know, it doesn't work like that. And I'm sure you're the same. You'll often look at campaigns or look at jobs and wonder, why have they picked that photographer and not that photographer or not me? And I wonder the same thing. So, taking good pictures. Now, who thinks they're a good photographer here? Put your hand up. Everyone's got scared. I've scared you. Everyone put your hand up if you think you're a good photographer. Wow, it was fun, isn't it? Okay, so there are a lot of good people. Let's all be honest. If now, we got someone standing over there and you all gave us the camera and the lighting, a lot of us could produce a pretty decent portrait, I'd imagine. But, sadly, that's nothing special these days. Because, back in the day of, let's go back thousands of years. In a village, you had your butcher, your baker, your cobbler. Those guys had the monopoly because they were the only person that was good at that thing. Now, imagine being in a village where there's 20, 30, 40, 50 bakers. You're not so special anymore. So you can imagine what you'd have to do now as that person to stand out, because let's be really honest, there are a lot of photographers. I think that's something that you should kind of accept, but it's something that you should work toward and use it to push yourself. So for us, the reason we feel we've progressed is we like to give 200% effort to a job, because we know, don't take things for granted. If you're in a situation, if you're in a job you need to be as good as you can in order to get rebooked, okay? That should be, in our opinion, your number one goal. Not to make the shoot great, your number one goal should be to get rebooked. But that is linked to having a great shoot. And I think a lot of people are just happy with the fact that, oh yeah, I've done a shoot, that's great. I got booked, hopefully they'll book me again, hopefully. Why should it be hopefully? You've had a chance to show how good you are, show how great you are. You know, it should be a likely thing. Okay. Now, sometimes, to be truly great, it's going to involve risk. Okay? What do I mean by risk? I mean going against the grain and doing something slightly different. I remember when we started, we knew nothing about photography, and we done some Googling, and we looked at GQ magazine, Vogue magazine, all the best magazines, and we Googled the photographers, and I looked at them, I was like, wow, these guys are 20, 30 years older than us, and they're shooting the stuff we want to shoot. And I said to Narup, I said, how on earth are we ever going to get further along the line? And we soon realized that every opportunity that came to us, it was our responsibility, not an idea, it was our responsibility to actually do the absolute best we could. Because you can't compete with someone who's been doing it for 30 years if you've been doing it for 30 days. But you can compete if you do a shoot and you basically use something other than photography. You use yourself as a person. They say people buy people, and that goes for many industries, many businesses. So our goal is always to be that much more remarkable than we can, and to push ourselves and to add as much value. I would strongly encourage you guys, any shoot you do, to go home and ask yourself this one question. There's lots of questions, but this one question: what impact did I have on everyone today? Not how good were my pictures. I want you to ask yourself, how did I make people feel? Did people feel great around you? Did they feel stressed around you? Did they feel pressure around you? These are all very, very, very important factors. And I guess, you could look at it like dating maybe. I don't date, I'm happy with my partner, but a lot of you guys might be out there dating, and you've often got kind of one opportunity to kind of impress and make an impact on people. So we've all agreed that, I agree, and Narup will back me up and agree that making an impact on people, doing something a bit more than the photography is important. But what exactly are we talking about? What can you do? What can you do to make people feel special? Well, some things that I've learned is you could even do a little bit of research. Now, I done a shoot last week with Narup for a magazine, and we were shooting a Hollywood actor, and I had a new makeup artist, a new stylist I hadn't worked with. Now, I made the effort to Google the makeup artist and stylist for 5 minutes on the way down there, just so I knew a bit of information about them. When I spoke to them, I said, I've seen your work, I really liked X that you done. How do you think that made the stylist or the makeup artist feel? Do you think they felt shit? Do you think they felt great? Well, they felt great, and they said, thank you for taking the time out. Now, someone could be arguing, why does this guy care about a hair and makeup artist? They're not important. They don't commission work. That's where you're wrong. What we're really talking about is your reputation, If word goes about that you are a kind of an interesting person, you do your research, you take time to understand people, that can spread, and that can lead to a lot of work and potentially a lot of money and a lot of success as well. So my point is, don't judge, don't think it's only about people, the editor of the magazine who will book me. It doesn't work like that. We can say firsthand some of the most successful and lucrative jobs we've ever had have been referred by other people, such as makeup artists. So really have a think about your whole network. When you're on a shoot, what does that person think about me? I always make an effort to do a follow-up text, a follow-up email, simple thing. Thank you for yesterday. It was a fantastic experience. Let's get together and go for a drink. Now, why am I doing that? One, because I genuinely had a good time. I would not do that if I didn't like the person. But two, I'm keen to build on this opportunity. Okay, now with photography, there is no magical company that gets you the bookings. You don't just get an agent and they ring you and they give you 5 jobs a week. It doesn't work like that. You have to take the onus on yourself, okay? Otherwise, unfortunately, you won't be able to progress. Right, this is something that we think about a lot. If you imagine a day on set, you've got 8 hours, say, to kind of make an impact, to prove yourself, to show how good you are, to show why people should recommend you, to show why people would refer you, to show why you were booked. It's your chance to shine. And you know, for us, we're very lucky because there's two of us. We have we have a big advantage. You know, we can go on a set and we know, for example, a lot of the technical, the lighting stuff will be taken care of by one of us. Then the other person can spend their time talking to clients, understanding their needs, making sure people feel comfortable, and making sure the job is well executed. Now, I think a lot of people on the day of a shoot, we made this mistake. When we started, I used to think the most important thing is that the pictures are the best possible thing. Forget the client, forget the subject, photos have got to be great. If they're great, I'll get work. Doesn't work like that. You need to never neglect your photography, but at the same time realize it's what goes on during those 8 hours that are pivotal. Those 8 hours on that set, you know, can be the difference between flying to New York, getting booked for exhibitions, getting booked for jobs, or sitting at home and watching Netflix on the weekend. So we say this and it may sound harsh, it's because we've been through this, you know, we've been doing this for over 10 years now, we've learned a lot. We want you guys to kind of learn where we've made mistakes, perhaps where we weren't as switched on as we should have been. So do really think about yourself on the day and make an impact. Even when you guys are here today, think to yourself, who can you make an impact on before you leave? Okay, there are networking opportunities here for all of us, you know, but a lot of you might not be aware of them. Think about what value you can add to people, you know, what value they can potentially add to you. And I know I could talk for hours. I'm going to go on to one last point. It's not even on the slide, but don't put people on a pedestal. Okay, so this is one of the things we thought when we started off. We went to an AOP talk, 10 years ago? Was that Focus Photography Show? And we were just the two little kids sitting there, and there was another chap who was doing the talk, and we just thought, this is miles away. You know, we can't do this. He's a talker, he's a professional, look at him. You know, 10 years, we've kind of progressed and we've realized that things aren't as unachievable as you think. To say to us, if you said 10 years ago to Naroop, you're going to do a project, a Sing project, it's going to get millions of views around the world, we're going to have exhibitions. We were doing press for literally 3 weeks solid. BBC, interviews, everything. Like, it wouldn't have thought it's possible. So I want you guys to look at your own careers now and don't undervalue yourself, please. Believe in yourself. Think if us two can do it, there's absolutely no reason you guys can't do it. We all are blessed with different skills. We are terrible at 97% of things, but we are great at 3% of things, and we all have different skills. So work on what your speciality is, and ultimately you have to believe in yourself, okay? If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't back yourself, no one else is going to do it. Are there any assistants? Anyone's assistant photographer in the crowd? Okay, a couple of assistants. Okay, well, this is relevant to assistants and non-assistants. Now, who sends emails to people potentially asking about doing some work for them? Does anyone do that? Hands, please. Okay, so I'm assuming everyone else gets calls then their phone just rings. Okay, that's great. Right. So those that do email, okay, think about your message and your communication and who you're sending it to. You might have 4 hours to write this email. You might want to tell them what university you trained at, what your influences are, what you're interested in. Do you really genuinely think the person getting that email cares? So why send it? Even now, we get probably 60 to 70 emails a month from assistants. I've had 4 while I've been here today, and I've deleted them all. Well, not deleted, they're saved, but none of them were relevant. They were so long, they were talking about, I didn't know whether they wanted to assist or not, and it was like, I've done this, I've done that, blah, blah, blah. Why are we doing that? Let's focus on making a shorter message I'm a big fan of, when I actually write my emails, Naroop knows this, when I write an email, I write it like that. I put a gap between each line. Do you know why I put a gap between each line? Anyone know why I put a gap between each line? It's easier to read and it's easier to digest. So when I email someone, someone knows within 5 sentences what I want and why I'm getting in touch with them. And I've tried this over many years. I've made my emails shorter over the years, and it's increased my success rate. Because no one wants to send an email and not get a reply. That's horrible. That doesn't make you feel great. What you really want to get, the buzz, the adrenaline, the bit I love, is sending an email and getting an answer back saying, yes, we want to meet you. Now, that is never a bad thing. So the advice I'm giving you today, it works for us. I'm hoping it will work with you. And I would keep that communication short, whatever you're doing, whether it's photography or another type of business. But people are busy today, okay? Over to you, Naroop. I hope that was helpful. Back over to you, son.
Thank you, Amit. One thing I would add is also on your website, as photographers, you go to some people's About Me section and it's literally an essay. Guys, that needs to change. People don't have the time to read all of that. You go onto our website, we've got an FAQs, 10 common asked questions. And we list the things people always ask about us. So when a person goes onto our website, they'll have majority of the questions answered straight away. How long have we been working together? What have we done? What was the favorite thing, your favorite shoot, or whatever it is. 10 FAQs, 10 simple questions to the point. Let people go on the site, get a good feeling about you, see the work, then go. And also the way you lay out your website has a big impact in terms of your photography. Some people design their websites to make them feel good. Do you know what I mean by that? That you go on a website and it's a full screen website, in your eyes, this is unbelievable, look at it, it looks so beautiful, my image is a full screen, have you seen, look at the color saturation, the shadows are beautiful, whatever. Guys, people haven't got the time to flick through every single image of yours. Are you crazy if you think they're going to do that? They won't. Our website is like an Instagram page. You go on there, it's JPEGs, small images, and you can scroll all the way down like you would an Instagram feed and get a feel for our work, for the color tone, for the mood. Every image is put in exactly the right place to let it flow together. So stuff like that it affects how your photography impacts people. So don't do stuff just to make your ego feel good. Do stuff that you believe people who are going to book you for work, who might want to work with you, will be able to use it and view your work easily. So that's one common mistake I always notice. But what do I mean here by don't be vanilla? Okay, so like I was saying before, earlier, I touched on this about trying to create work that the masses will like. And like I said, photographers believe that if you can create work that the masses will like, you're going to get the most amount of work. So I remember when me and Amit first started, we had our website and we had landscapes, portraits, fashion. Being Indian, we had Indian fashion, a separate Indian fashion gallery, and urban nightscapes, and we covered it all. We thought, let's cover all the bases, then we could book as much work as possible. So whatever anybody wants, we're going to do it. Did it work? Hell no, it didn't work. Because no one wants somebody who is just good at everything. They want someone who is remarkable at one thing. Understand that. So, but it's common logic to think if you can do everything and everybody likes your work, you're going to get the most amount of work. But it doesn't work like that, because if you go on sites like Getty, you're going to see stock photography, and a lot of that work is good work. It's good work, and that gap is kind of filled, but you're never going to make an impact with good work. And this is something Amit touched on. It's not about your work being good or bad. It's about your work being good or great. That's the difference. Good or great, not good or bad. Everybody can do good work. How many people can do great work? That's what you've got to focus on. So why am I talking about vanilla? Well, vanilla ice cream is a flavor that a lot of us probably like. It's good. It's a good flavor. We like it. But you ever going to tweet or send a message to your friend and saying, guess what? I had some vanilla ice cream. No. It's just like work. If your work tastes like vanilla, if it's just okay, no one's going to ever send anybody a link to your work. No one's ever going to talk about your work. But if your work is like some crazy flavor, like some mint, fudge, chocolate chip, Rocky Roads combination, like that someone tastes and it sets their tongue on fire, you're going to tell everybody about that ice cream. You're going to say, that ice cream is the best ice cream, man. I've never had this ice cream. I need to have some more of that ice cream. Your work needs to be like that. right? Then you're going to tweet everybody, yo, check out this photographer. He is amazing, his work, or she is fantastic. That's how you need to adopt your approach to your work. Treat it like a flavor. What's your flavor of your work? So mine and Amit's work is very bold, very saturated, very sharp, very punchy. We know it. We know it works, and we do that. We get booked to do that. We don't then try to do something totally different. We don't do fashion. We're not fashion photographers. Do one thing, make it the best flavor, the best style, focus on that. Don't try to make everybody happy. So how do you make your flavor, your work, not feel vanilla? Well, you've got to cause some disruption. You've got to provoke a reaction, offend, annoy, be too simple, be too complicated, but be a little bit extreme, okay? So you think about someone like Terry Richardson, right? He's a great photographer. He's shot an amazing advertising campaigns. But you go on his website, what are you going to see? Half-naked women, him licking some guy's head, some crazy props being used. But what is he doing? He's making an impact. All his cool commission stuff that he gets paid thousands of pounds or dollars to do, half of it's not even on his website, but yet this guy's a multi-millionaire. His work has an impact. Think about what he does. He wants to offend you. He wants you to go on his site and think, this guy is terrible, I can't believe it, but I bet you're going to talk about him. I'm not saying you guys have such an extreme approach, but do something that's going to cause a bit of reaction. So when me and Amit shot this project about Sikh people that said to us, who the hell is going to look at an exhibition on guys and women with turbans? No one cares. But we did it in a very stylized way that provoked a reaction. Some people in our community didn't like it. Our people at our local temple said it was bad to do this. It caused a reaction, but guess what? It's got praise, and people like it, and it's made an impact. So treat your work in the same way. Appeal to the masses, and you won't grow. You will not stand out. So, talking about vanilla, I'm now talking about becoming a cook. I know you want to be photographers. Why am I talking about becoming a cook? Well, think about it. You think about, and I was reading this about Heston Blumenthal. I hope I said his surname right. He is an amazing chef, right? But what has he done? He uses some of the most amazing ingredients from different parts of the world, puts them into a dish, and creates something that people have never, ever tasted. Right? He takes influence from different places. He's one of the first people to take science and bring science into cooking, right? And that's what we need to be like as photographers. Now, where do you guys usually get your inspiration from for your work? How many people look at other photographer sites and get inspiration from them? A lot of people? Any hands up? People who do that? Okay. Where else do you look for inspiration? Anywhere else? So you guys are really cooking, if you think about it. If you think about this inspiration being ingredients, you guys are cooking with far few ingredients, not enough ingredients. You want to pull your inspiration from different sources. You want to be like Heston. You want to bring some science into your photography. You might want to bring some fashion, some film, some design. We get inspiration from loads of other places. Sometimes we don't even look at other photographer sites. Because why? We want to stand out. Why do you want to look at something that someone else has already done? I'm not saying that you don't look at them for inspiration of lighting, but don't just steal their ideas. A lot of time photographers try to create work other photographers have done. Why do you want to be like another photographer? So someone out there already doing the same thing. You don't want to be like them. You want to take inspiration from different places, put all these ideas, all these ingredients into a pot, stir it up, cook it up, and produce something that's totally unique, totally yours. So it's a way of looking, it's a way of thinking about your photography. Don't think too linear. You've got to think open-minded. Some of the best artists get inspiration from some of the craziest places. And that's what you really have to do. You have to expose yourself to different environments. You've got to go to other exhibitions. Maybe you have to go to fashion shows. Maybe you go to the design museum. Maybe you go to wherever it might be. But go somewhere, expand your inspiration. Get more ingredients, cook up better dishes. It's going to make your photography a lot better. The grind is life. Now this sounds like quite a strong statement, and we tell this to all of our assistants and interns who work with us, that life isn't easy, okay? And I don't know how many of you guys are pro again, photographers who are doing it full time? Okay, how many of you guys who are not, got their hands up, would like to do it full time? Yes, okay, you should be proud of it, put it up there. Well, you need to know that it's not easy to do it, that you have to grind. You have to grind it in. Now, there's 3 types of people. And now, this is from my experience working with assistants, working with photographers that we mentor, that we help. There's those who do, those who watch, and those who wonder. And I think this is especially applicable in photography. How many of you guys have had an idea for a personal project that's never ever happened? How many more? How many of you guys have looked at the work here and wondered that, you know what, my project, it could have been a good idea, it could have been on the wall. How many guys, put your hands up? Why have you not executed on it? It's too hard, isn't it? It's too hard, it takes too much effort. But you don't want to be that person. If you want to be on these walls, guys, you can't be a watcher, you've got to be a doer. So ask yourself, what is really holding you back? Because you're actually inhibiting your own impact by not doing it. What is holding you back? What is stopping you from doing it? And a lot of the times is what other people think. Now, I asked you guys to put your hands up, and I noticed that you guys some of you went up, some were like a little bit. You have to put yourself out there. I'm a photographer, check me out, look. Let people know that, because you know what you've done by doing that? You're now holding yourself accountable. People are looking at you. Are you a photographer? Let's see what you can do. And you want that. You want to know that people are looking at you, because it's a funny thing. On Facebook, when someone puts something up that has taken real achievement, something that's taken a lot of effort, how many people do you think like it or comment on it? Compared to if you put up something which is silly, like some cat running after a light or something. Why? Because people don't always want to give you the praise if they see that you're doing something, right? And that makes you feel a little bit scared, intimidated, like, oh my God, no one's really supporting me. What happens if I fail? You have to be willing to get that mindset out and become a doer. If anything, be proud of it, because I guarantee you, everybody watching you is envious of you. Remember, if people don't follow you, that doesn't mean they're not following you, if that makes sense, right? They don't, because they might not have the confidence to like your post or follow you on Instagram, because by doing that, they're giving you a little bit of credibility, and they don't want to do that. So have the confidence to be a doer. Show people what you're going to do, right? You guys have no idea how hard it was for us to raise the money to go to New York and do this exhibition. And people doubted us. Who's going to want to see it in New York? But we did it, and we showed people, and that builds up your own confidence. So become a doer, start to make stuff happen, and have impact. Your work has to be remarkable. Remember that, I was talking to somebody about this earlier, that photography is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It takes 10,000 hours, Malcolm Gladwell, the author, said, to become a true master of your craft. 10,000 hours. That equates to roughly about 10 years. So how many people here have been photographing for like over 10 years now? Okay. So we've been doing it for 14 years, and we still don't consider ourselves nowhere near to masters of what we do. You're always learning. But have this idea in your mind that it's not going to come straight away. Why should it come straight away? If you want to have this amazing lifestyle where every day is different, where you get to do what you love, where you get to be your own boss, where you get paid good money, do you think that's going to come to you easy? Is someone going to give that to you easy? No. So, like my dad always said to me, Narup, you've got to pay the cost at some point in your life, right? Either you pay it when you're younger or you pay it when you're older, but you've got to pay the cost. And now, when we're working and we're establishing ourselves as photographers, we're paying the cost, the hard work, but our rewards will come. Other people who don't chase their dreams, they might settle on a job which they feel more comfortable with, but when they're older, I guarantee they're going to look back at their life and wonder, I wish I could have done what I really wanted to do. Have so many questions, so many ideas, so many things they want to do left unanswered. But we can do that now, but you've got to realize that it's not going to be easy, and it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. If you have that mindset, I guarantee you can succeed. So don't see failures as bad. Now, if anything, me and Amit want to fail. The more we fail, the more we grow. It means the more we're trying to do things. Now, I think especially in England, I've noticed, because we work a lot in America, that we see failures as being really bad in this country. Why is it bad? We're experimenting. We're trying different things. We've done projects, guys, that we've put 6 to 7 months in, that our agents have said to us, don't like it. Don't like it. And it hasn't gone on our site. 6 to 7 months of work. No one's going to ever see it. We don't see it as being a failure. If anything, we realize we learned something from that. Fail quick, fail often, but fail forward. meaning that every failure you make takes you a step forward to where you want to be. If you fail and you don't learn anything from it, then yeah, you're failing backwards and you're not really learning. But the problem is we're living in a world dying of pleasure, and I love that quote because that says everything about where life is at the moment. You know, people post up a photo on Instagram. If they get likes, all of a sudden they think that they're really good. They get a little rush of endorphins. They're feeling great. Oh my God, people are liking my work. People are liking my work. Guys, that creates a false illusion of how success and business, which you guys are really in, is a business, is like. These people who are liking your photos on Instagram, they're not going to book you. Some of them might if they're commissioners. Majority of them won't. Don't think that you're going to get rewards straight away. Realize that it takes time for your success to come. The universe responds to seed, not need. That means if you need something right now, we expect things to come, but what have you sown? What seeds have you planted in your past for you to get what you want now? How many emails have you sent out? A lot of people do email marketing, right? They send out a blanket, they'll send out emails to everybody and they expect the phone to ring. How many people have followed up with phone calls, cold phone calls to people at advertising agencies or clients? Hi guys, I saw that you opened up an email I sent, I was wondering if I could book a meeting with you. How many people have done that? Yeah, but that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And you should chat to Ross over here from Bikini List. He can tell you about brilliant strategies that you can do to help get new clients. But it takes that, and it's scary to ring up somebody, and try to get a conversation going with them, trying to book a meeting. But that's how some of the best work can come to you. Have confidence. A photographer should always be the most confident person in the room. Remember that, all right? Don't hide behind your camera, because a lot of people think photography is just picking up the camera, clicking it, and that's it. I disagree. I think photography is everything else around that. Photography is how you make people feel in the room. If your stylist or the makeup artist is feeling good, they're going to go the extra mile to make your subject look even better. If your assistant is being treated well, they'll give you the extra effort to make sure the lighting is set up correctly. If you make the art buyer or the art director or the client feel good, they'll probably book you again for another work. Photography is about everything, choosing the right location, making sure the lights are right, making sure the subject's right. The click just is the final nail. It kind of ties everything together. So that's why it's so important to really control it, be confident. That's how you have an impact, because that's how you're going to continue getting booked, how you're going to continue to make money. And don't be afraid to say you need to make money. We all need to make money. We're in this to survive. No one wants to be in a position where we can't carry on doing what we love. Okay, so have the confidence. Don't see failures as being bad. If we actually told you some of the stories of some of the stuff that we've done, he laughs at if I told you we've spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on stuff that hasn't worked, we're not even lying. That's the honest truth. So don't quit too early. Rewards come to those who persist. So we've been doing this, like I said, for 14 years, and still we feel like we're only halfway to where we really want to be. But take the time, enjoy the journey. Sometimes when you get to the destination, you might not even like it. You don't even know. So if you're not enjoying the day-to-day journey, life can be really tough. And we know being a photographer can be really, really lonely as well. I don't know, we've never been to a Christmas party, have we? Me and him have been down to the pub for a pint or close to Christmas. We've never had a Christmas, but I've never had a job. I've never worked for anybody, neither has he. So we don't really know much else. But, keep persisting, keep believing. Number one thing is belief and confidence in yourself. But use your time wisely and focus on the big impact stuff. So have any of you guys ever heard of the tool, the phrase, busy fools? You guys know what a busy fool is? Well, a lot of the time, people are busy doing stuff. Busy, but nothing's ever really getting done. They're not really moving forward, but I'm too busy, mate, so I'm just working on this project, nothing ever gets done. Because why? They're making themselves become occupied with stuff that really doesn't have an impact. What you need to do is use your time wisely on the big impact stuff. That means those personal projects that you've been putting off, do that. The other stuff that's not important, like data entry or invoicing or anything that you can do, invoicing is important, but give that to someone else who can help you. So ask your girlfriend, your mum, your dad, your friend. We employ interns, right? We give them, they help us, we help them, we train them, we mentor them. But use your time on the big impact stuff. There's a lot of people out there who are willing to help you. A lot of art designers, stylists, makeup artists will help you make your personal projects come to life, but focus on the big impact stuff. And personal projects is going to be the one thing, guys, that's really going to help you move forward in your career. And we've done a talk on it. You can go on YouTube and see our talks about personal work and how important it is, how it changed our career. Okay, so focus on the big impact stuff. Don't worry about the little stuff. Don't get stuck in flows of activity. Never forget the big picture. Okay, so I hope that helped you guys with trying to make an impact in photography. The main thing I would say is go after what you want to try to do. Be bold, be confident, do stuff that's different, that really pushes you as individuals as well, that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe you do a shoot and you think to yourself, wow, what are people going to think of it? Is this too much? That's the stuff that's probably going to get you noticed. Okay? Here are some of our social media links. You can follow us. We've got a lot of talks online. You can see some of our videos, see some of our work. What we'd like to do is, if you guys have got any questions, anything you'd like to ask us, we're more than happy to answer any questions you may have. You can also talk to us afterwards. But has anybody got any questions, anything they'd like to ask about their own careers or anything they feel they'd like some advice with or some help with at all? Anybody any questions? Yes, we have one at the back. That's a good question. How much time do you spend on marketing? Well, you know, marketing has changed now. When it used to. Now you can kind of integrate your marketing with your work. So we do a lot of our stuff, we do a lot of social media stuff. So, you know, right now, we're doing this talk. We've got one of our interns filming us, also posting photos of us on Instagram as we're talking now. So you've got to think differently about your marketing, try to integrate it all together. Apart from that, we do email marketing, send emails out, but make sure you follow up on the emails, you know, and even when you're emailing clients, always make sure you follow up. Follow up once with a second email and then with a phone call as well. So we do spend a lot of time on marketing, but we've built up relationship along the way. So before, when we first started, we used to send out little booklets, spend thousands on mail outs. We actually bought a franking machine, you know, that you put an envelope in and it stamps it. Like, we were just sending stuff out by the boatload, literally. But now, you know, a lot of these guys at agencies and clients are getting inundated with photographers' work. So the main thing I would say in terms of marketing for you guys is try to book a meeting. Try to get one-on-one with somebody. Because if someone can buy into you as an individual, guarantee you've got more likely a chance of getting booked for work. Because, you know, there's so many people out there doing good work. You need to try to sell yourself as an individual. What will make you so different? If you were on set with this client, how are they going to get good results from you? You know, can you work well with a different subject? Do you feel nervous? Are you confident? You know, these are the things that a potential client will look at and make a decision on. So try to book meetings with people. That's what I would say. But yeah, we do spend a fair amount of time on marketing. Any other questions for anybody? No? Thank you, guys. Really appreciate that. Like I said, we're hanging around here, so you can come and have a chat if you've got any questions anyway. Cheers. Thanks.
So I've just been listening to Amit and Nirup and their lecture, and I found it really fantastically innovating. I've just said to admit that he reminds me of myself when I was younger, because of his energy, his enthusiasm. And some of us guys, as we get older, we lose a bit of that, and we need to be reminded. So today, I'm going home with Amit and Nirup's words ringing in my ears, fresh for tomorrow.
So I always love to listen to Amit and Nirup talk. I just think they have really generous advice to give that's quite specific, and it's like pearls of wisdom, it's complete gold. I love the amount of detail they go into, and it can be translated into all sorts of different fields, so photography or other businesses where you want to make a big impact. It's really, really interesting and inspiring to listen to them. They're always so full of energy and they're great. We love them. Thank you.